For the past 6 years, I have been watching Stranger Things wrong. Completely and totally wrong. I didn't know that though. I thought the demogorgons were jinns. Apparently I'm the only person who thought that because I literally can't find this anywhere else. Let me explain what a jinn is first, why I thought they were jinns, how they presented in the show that way, and what made sense in the grand context of me and the show, why they were jinns, okay? I'm gonna go step by step through each of my ideas of why the demogorgons are jinns and why other characters in the show also present as jinns and why I believe that so wholeheartedly. So we're going to start off with what is a jinn? A jinn is a being in Islam that is made from smokeless fire. Humans are made from clay, angels are made from light, and then there's God. Humans and jinn both have free will. We are able to exercise that free will. We can make the choices to do right or to do wrong. Because you look at the demogorgons and you think, oh, all demogorgons are evil. Yes, but what my reasoning for why I thought the demogorgons were jinns will make sense more going down the line. Just like humans, jinns can be bad and jinns can be good. But the difference between us and jinns is that jinns are more supernatural, so they have more abilities that we don't have. They can be stronger than us. They can move faster than us. They can fly, some of them. Some of them can like jump up really high, move through dimensions. And that might sound familiar because demogorgons live in the upside down. So that's the first place I'm going to start, is with the upside down. Jinns live in a parallel dimension to us. Literally, so here's our dimension, here's their dimension. We're literally side by side. Jinns are literally right next to us. And their dimension looks like our dimension overlapped and dirtier. And that's how the upside down is. The upside down is literally our world, but dirty. And that's because jinns like inhabiting dark and dirty places. They like being in the darkness. They like being in dark corners. Even when they come to our realm, they like being in the darkness. They prefer the nighttime. They prefer being in piles of trash, being in holes. When I was a kid, I remember my mom used to tell me, we don't have piles of trash laying around places because that's where the jinn lives. You don't want the jinn or the shaitan to come and get you. So because of that, when I was watching the show and I saw the upside down, I literally thought that's the jinn dimension. That's literally bar for bar, word for word, the jinn dimension. It's just like Hawkins flipped, and it's dark and dirty, and it's filled with demogorgons and the mind flayer and other things. And jinn are also overpowered. Jinn are very powerful compared to humans. Like I said before, humans are kind of three-dimensional. We really only have the ability to just go forward in time and then our basic free will. And jinns have free will plus being able to move through dimensions and maybe even time. I'm not 100% sure on that. I have to double check that. But they're able to do things that we're not able to do in terms of like the physicality and being able to move through dimensions. And that's kind of demogorgons to me, because demogorgons can go through the hellmouth and they can go through the portals and they can come from the upside down to Earth and then back without any problem. So that's number one, the parallel dimension. The second thing that made me think was in the second season, the possession of Byers. And jinn can possess people. Jinn can take over the bodies of people. There are jinn possessions and jinn exorcisms, just like in Christianity where you exorcise out of a demon. But not all jinn are possessing people and doing evil things. Like I said before, jinn have free will. Some are able to do those things and some are not. This series where you saw Byers be possessed by the demogorgon and being taken over by the mind flayer, and then again in season 3 where we saw Billy being possessed by the mind flayer and the townspeople of Hawkins also being possessed by the mind flayer, it made sense to me. I was like, oh, these are jinn possessions happening on a wider scale. Totally made sense to me. Then we go into season 4, which is the latest season, I believe, and we see Vecna possessing the people. Now wait, because now you're going to be thinking, Vecna is technically jinn? Yes, and this is why. Even though jinn can look crazy, jinn can also look like humans. And I think a representation of this you'll see in other media is in American Gods, and there's a character there that's a jinn and he looks just like human, and that's because jinn can look human. Yes, they can possess people, but they also look human. To me, that's why 1, 2 alone, we're all jinns. All those kids from the facility were jinns as well. Their supernatural abilities, the way they were able to possess things and move things and do things that humans can't do. So I thought, these are jinns. And so it made total sense to me. And you might be thinking, well, how is 11 a jinn and her mom's not a jinn? Her mom gave birth to her. Her mom is a jinn. In my mind, all of them were jinns. Like, these are a faction of jinn that are living on Earth that came from the Upside Down. They didn't want to live there anymore, came to our realm and dimension, which they do, which they're well known to do. We're just trying to live normally, because some of them aren't there to cause problems. Some of them are really just there to just be like, hey, I'm just gonna move through dimension to dimension. Totally made sense to me. This all goes back to jinns having free will. So in my mind, watching the show, all this made sense. It made sense that the demogorgons were coming from the Upside Down and they look like that because they're jinns. It made sense that they were possessing people, and it also made sense that Vecna and the other kids in the facility in 11 were also all jinn, and that's why they have supernatural abilities. That's how I can explain why they have those abilities. I don't believe they're like science projects or whatever like that. I didn't at the time. Now in hindsight, I was able to look into the things that the Duffer brothers were saying that they were inspired by to create the show. The Duffer brothers came out and said, these are our references, this is what we use for the story. The main one being the Montauk Project, which was like some scientific experiments being done in New Jersey. I believe, I might be wrong about the location. Scientific experiments being done on creatures that they couldn't identify, and these creatures were found outside and they looked like the demogorgons, and that's fair. The other ones were like the Satanic Panic, the West Memphis 3, and other things that were happening in America. So like urban legends, like true crime stories. And from that, I was just like, oh, okay, so everything I said was wrong. Which I kind of still don't believe, because it was so referential. That's why I think my theory still kind of has legs, because maybe they are using jinn ideology and jinns as the characters, but just don't know that yet. I will let myself believe that delusion. That's okay. So I looked at all the references that the Duffer brothers came up with, and none of them really spoke to me in a way that made any sense. There's so many different references. I was just like, my theory is better, and I'm just gonna stick with it. I might not watch the next season of Stranger Things for other reasons. With that being said, I just want to share my theory. I think it's a really interesting theory. I want to see if there's other people who thought like this. I can't be the only one who thought this. I refuse to believe that I'm the only person who thought this. If you thought that the demogorgons and 11 and all of them were jinn, please comment down below. And also, if I said anything wrong about Islam in the video, please correct me. This is just my understanding, having gone to Duxie for 16 years. So this is just what I learned and what I remember. This is just literally my understanding. And then the show. That's it. That's all I did. And also let me know if you guys had a different theory. I'd love to hear what your theories could be. I think it's just interesting to see that I watched the show from a different viewpoint than other people, and just like straight believed in my own reality. And I want to know if other people experience that as well. If you experience with other shows, I'd like to know that too. That'd be really cool if you could share that in the comments below. Anyway, bye.